Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Education and asks how many letters and emails has she received from School Board of Trustees representatives since she told the House on the 21st of August 2010 that members of the New Zealand School Trustees Association are, quote, extremely supportive of national standards, end quote, and that express support for the current national standards, and how many have expressed concern about the national standards?
Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I'm advised that correspondence is logged by the name of the signatory, and it's not always recorded that correspondence is from a board member. However, 5 letters and emails have been received and logged as correspondence from a Board of Trustee member. All were supportive of national standards and contained the following positive statements. Quote, as an experienced trustee who is not afraid to challenge the current norms when we're discussing student achievement, I, along with my fellow trustees, are very much in favour of the new standards. Despite what you may hear, there are many boards of trustees.
If the Minister listened to the question was very simple what it asked, and I think the Minister answered it quite a while back. The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Question.
Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Has she read the letter she received by email yesterday from a Board of Trustees chair outlining, quote, his very serious concerns, end quote, about national standards, and describing the situation schools are currently in as, quote, trying to fly an aeroplane that is still being built, written by David Bishop, chairperson of Spotswood Primary School Board of Trustees, of whom I had never heard before he sent me the email yesterday.
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, no, but I did go back and have a look at the emails that the member talked about on the 24th of August, the 51 emails, only 20 of which were actually received this year. The rest of them were received last year, and some of them during the consultation period. And actually, when you looked at those 20 received this year from Boards of Trustees members, that member said were anti-national standards, in fact were asking questions about national standards and weren't expressing any discontent with the standards themselves.
Alan Peachy.
Mr Speaker, what reports has the Minister seen that show Boards of Trustees are getting on with the job of implementing national standards?
Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, the Education Review Office recently found that 80% of schools are either well prepared to work with the standards or have preparation underway. The facts are, regardless of what that member and that party think, the majority of schools are getting on with the job of implementing national standards, telling parents and whānau how their children are actually achieving and giving our children the skills that they need to succeed.
Trevor Mallard.
How does she reconcile her statement that the applause while she was on the stage at New Zealand School Trustees Association conference was a sign of support for her standards, with the NZSTA President's statement that the applause was in recognition of the President's 21 years of service as a school trustee?
Speaker, easily, because I didn't say that. No, I didn't.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Oh, I don't know what to do. She said in the House,
Order.
Mr Speaker.
No, it's order. Order. The Minister absolutely answered the question. Is this a supplementary question?
Yes. I will, but I'll be back with another pointless letter, I'm sure.
The member will just ask his supplementary question.
Yes, sir. Does she maintain that the New Zealand School Trustees Association is, quote, extremely supportive of national standards, end quote, following their President's comments that she, quote, never said boards were supportive of the policy?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I said to that member, the member who's asking the question, that I was actually at the New Zealand School Trustees Association conference, and I know the comments that were made to me about the national standards were many and supportive. However, Lorraine Kerr, the President, says, and I quote, "If we truly subscribe to the notion that our schools exist for our students and that students are at the centre of all quality teaching and learning, then a degree of discomfort is an acceptable price to pay for the very real opportunity to improve the lot of every student. We are saying, let's just get on with it.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, could I ask the Minister if she is so certain of her national standards, whether she will agree to Gary Hawke and John Hattie, who are working for the Prime Minister and her, appearing before the Education and Science Select Committee in order to outline progress they are making in their committee?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Well, actually, Mr Speaker, that is an advisory group who provide free and frank advice to me as the Minister. I'd just like to remind that member that he said himself in 2000...
Order. No, the Minister may wish to tell the House what she'd like to tell the House, but the question was a very specific one. I've got to say the question did not contain any criticism of the government's policy. It simply asked whether the Minister would consider allowing two people, from memory, Gary Hawke and Dr. Hattie or Professor Hattie, to appear in front of the Education Select Committee, and that's not an unreasonable question. The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, actually it isn't my business to dictate what happens in the Select Committee. They are perfectly free to invite whoever they would like to appear in front of them.
Question number 9, David Bennett.